feel like King James.
Sounds like it is straight from the motherfucking cassette.
I hate when you get to a point in your career where people feel like they got you figured out and there's no more surprises. I like people to press play on my stuff and still be surprised.
Turn it up, baby. No introduction necessary, yo. Hey, yo. Okay. Hey, yo. Son.
Two, one.
Top of the morning to you, laddies. I wanted to steal Jack's advertising. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Dusttin Bowerman Show. We're back, son. We're freaking back on this Weenie Junior Wednesday. We're actually not that bad. That was pretty good, on this March 3rd, 2021. It's not April. What? No, never mind. I was wondering. I thought Weenie Hut Junior had to do with fucking, April or something. I just thought it had to do with, wait, what's in March again?
Oh, March, man.
No, what's in
March? St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. I thought Weenie Hut Jr. had to do with St. Patrick somehow. I don't know why. Maybe there's
SpongeBob.
I don't know what. Yeah, I thought I was just thinking about maybe corn patties or something. I don't know. Anyways, welcome to the show today, guys. Welcome back to the Dusttin Bowerman Show. We have some interesting stuff to talk about today. Maybe some stuff that was brought up yesterday. I kind of want to talk about, because honestly, some part of our reporting was pretty bad, but I also kind of want to elaborate or explain again what exactly our show is, because I feel like our show kind of gets a lot of eyes from people that don't know what the fuck it is, right? Which makes sense. Obviously, we're an up-and-coming channel. We only have like 14,000 subscribers compared to, people like Jake Lucky and Esports Talk that have a lot of people watching them, right? So obviously, people don't know exactly what, I'm trying to do here and what we're trying to do here on this show, right? So maybe we'll try to elaborate on what exactly that is, but we're kind of trying to elaborate again on the Cloud9 situation, right? Yesterday, I made a video. I said, don't join Cloud9. Okay, and I said don't join Cloud9. There's a lot of good things Cloud9 does, so I'm going to elaborate on what the good things they do is and what my opinion was on the situation. So I'm just going to respond to it and kind of elaborate on Hiko's situation as well, because also what I said was not entirely fact. It was more of my speculation, but that wasn't, I guess, clear to a lot of people. So I'll make that clear next time, and we'll get better as a show, as per usual. And then Anthony's going to talk about Equinox, which is a team that is owned partially by, or a founder partially by somebody that we talked to yesterday, Goopy Noopy. Apparently, they've dropped their team. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe we can get Goopy Noopy to come back on. I know that this is not necessarily positive press for them, I imagine. So maybe we'll talk to him later. Hopefully, we don't burn any bridges with Goopy Noopy, but maybe we'll talk about Equinox, I think, to a decent degree. Anthony will bring it up. Also, we're going to talk about my opinion on Jake Lucky's Esports Talk, because I also said something in the video that was, and people have been this kind of happens. I just want to kind of say this. This happens with people that become big and have bigger channels. They'll always have haters. So it seems like Jake Lucky and Esports Talk does have a lot of haters that are hiding in the woodworks almost, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the comment section on his channel is pretty positive. Same with mine. Like I was saying, a lot of you guys in the comments and in the chat room and stuff like that, a lot of people are very, very positive, right? However, usually people on Reddit or whatever will kind of make marks or snide remarks at people or whatever, right? So we're going to kind of open up what my opinion on Esports Talk is and that kind of stuff in the, I guess, relationship that we have with them, right? And then Max is going to talk about how Nevada has an esports commission, apparently. What the hell's going on over there, son? And then Scumpy from Call of Duty, the boy, partner with Oakley. That's kind of interesting. Man wears glasses like me. Maybe I'll do a show without glasses, and hopefully Oakley will also send me a sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how it goes. Glassless episode. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how it goes. Maybe this will prove I can't even read. I literally can barely even read without my glasses. What the fuck is happening to my brain? Anyways, speaking about brain things that are changing in the society, Samantha brought this up last second before we went on, because she listened to a recent podcast including Keemstar and FaceBanks, which was, I think, Nate Shots or the 100 Thieves podcast. I don't remember. I have to watch the episode after this, but we have all the information from this exact interview, which FaZe Banks is apparently going to try to sell FaZe Clan. That's interesting. What the fuck, bro? Mark Cuban coming to buy potential buyers? Who's going to buy FaZe Clan? We'll talk about that later, see if it's actually going to be a thing or not, okay? First of all, though, I do want to bring up a topic that we talked about yesterday, right? That we talked about before. We did talk about yesterday, right? Obviously. I mean, Max and Anthony here to join me on the show, obviously, as per usual. But more importantly, we're going to talk about this thing here, guys. So recently, I made some comments about Cloud9, right? So people are kind of misconstruing what my comments exactly were, and what my content is, right? I just want to make this clear. Before we talk about anything rolling on Cloud9, Hiko, all this stuff, my content, right, is not just the news, YouTube channel or station or network or whatever. This is literally a culmination of my opinions, right? And actual news, like me reacting. That's why you see a lot of our titles have my name in it, because it's me. It's not the actual news, like, unbiased, whatever, right? This is literally what my opinion is as a former professional player, as a former person involved and still is involved in esports, right? What my personal opinion is of this kind of stuff, and on top of the news, right? So it's not just, oh, this is the news, this is what it is. This is it laid out with no opinions, no nothing, right? My shit has 90% of the content is my opinion, right? That's how it fucking is. And that's how it probably will be until we find a different solution if we want to change it up or whatever, if you guys don't like it, right? That's kind of what it is, right? That I don't understand why people will see otherwise, because this is not exactly something that is 100% facts, whatever. This is, a lot of it is speculation. A lot of our channel is speculation. We're not going to come to you with 100% accuracy every time, right? Because look at it this way. We produce like 5 videos a day, on top of the fact that we also do this live show, which we have to edit it up afterwards. Obviously, that's included. However, the point being is that we're going to get shit wrong, right? That's how it is. Obviously, I misconstrued it. I got a lot of the Cloud9 stuff wrong. I think some of the organization stuff, I didn't really explain the good sides of it or whatever. There's a lot of different variables to the situation, and we kind of went broad spectrum and pissed off a couple people in like 3 different areas, something like that, right? But my point being is that we do kind of cover things in sporadic manner, and usually it's research before the show. However, it's not like we spent weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, right? We're just using our experience, okay? That's how it is. My experience with other pro players behind the scenes and that kind of stuff. My experience from undisclosed, type of people, that kind of stuff, right? So I just want to quickly reiterate what exactly Hiko's quote from the other day was. Hiko, player for 100 Thieves in Valorant, for people that don't know. He pretty much said how Tens, another player for Cloud9, was, so this is the exact quote, right? I just want to, because I misquoted it apparently, and I didn't even try to quote it. I just said kind of said what he said pretty much, right? But like not his actual terms. Also, a Phantom glasses. What the fuck? I just tried reaching for my glasses. Hiko said this exact quote. If you're going for a big pickup, he was talking to his chat, why don't you just invest money and pick up Tens? He said, A, we explored the opportunity, which we explored the option, right? And then he said, B, as somebody who's been on Cloud9 and knows how esports politics work, if you think Tens is getting off Cloud9, you are sadly mistaken, right? So when I said, people were saying that I got that wrong, right? Which I understand, I get that. But like, my point being now is that this was a speculative statement, right? This was me speculating that Hiko wanted Tens and that 100 Thieves wanted Tens, and they tried looking into that option. So I said that Hiko was interested in Tens, right? I said that basically, which obviously he said that in like a more political way, basically. So that was my speculation is what I said, not what he said, but I said what it was a big he said, she said scenario, basically, right? And people were like mad about that. So I just wanted to get that exact quote out so you guys know what the exact quote was. And I speculated from that quote that they wanted Tens, right? That was my speculation. And they tried to get him on 100 Thieves, right? So obviously, that was the case there. But when we talk about Cloud9, for example, when we talk about the wrongdoings they've had, right? Those sources are not speculation. Okay, people are saying I don't really talk about my source or whatever. Okay, what do I gotta tell you that I freaking talked to like a bunch of people that work with Cloud9 in the past, and players that have worked with Cloud9 about their situation that they don't want leaked because literally it's contractually obliged, right? That kind of stuff they can't talk about, but I can because I'm literally not contractually obliged to, so I can talk about the wrongdoings that these companies have done. That's what I'm trying to get at, right? The people I have talked to, the pro players I've talked to, many of them from multiple different scenes, some reports we've seen, headlines we've seen, articles written about these organizations, right? These are all public things that are very, very obvious to people. Cloud9 does a lot of right. They do a lot of people right? But there's enough situations because of the fact, the reason that I brought Cloud9 up, they're not the only organization, I just want to mind you. There's multiple organizations, not a ton. Pretty much most organizations involved in esports have done a player or two wrong at some point, right? It's just because Cloud9 is such a big organization and because they've employed so many employees and have been around for so long and are quote-unquote the premier organization that we talk about them in this manner, right? Because they've been in headlines recently with fucking Tens and him staying in his contract, right? And then you have Fortnite and them releasing Vivid and fucking whoever the other guy was. Like, they released those guys, right? There's situations in fucking Counter-Strike where their players are unhappy, right? Hiko said it himself that players have had experience with Cloud9, right? So, obviously, and then also in Overwatch, the people I've known that have personally told me things Cloud9 have done and stuff like that, right? So, through all of these things that are out in the public, obviously, these are the reasons I'm talking about Cloud9 specifically, okay? Now, I just want to make this clear because obviously I'm more for the player, okay? My take is going to be for the player no matter what to the fucking end of the goddamn world, right? Even if that means this is greed, right? Even if this means that this player and focusing on this is more focused on them making money, that's what I'm going to focus on. I could give two shits about the team, right? I love the team owners. I love people involved in the team. But you know how many people have told players that are trying to sign, we're not winning money, right? Or we're not gaining money making this organization. We're whatever. Well, guess fucking what? You're the one that put money into this fucking system trying to make money, right? That was your entire purpose or whatever it was. You're the one that put money in. Don't blame the actual employee for doing their job and for trying to ask for market value, right? That's not the fucking player's fault. That's the goddamn market's fault. That's the system's fault, right? So don't blame the fucking player for trying to ask for more money. That's the side I'm always going to take and will take for the foreseeable future because I believe that every player should try to chase as much money as they can because you don't know how long your career is going to last. You just don't. My career lasted fucking 2 years as a professional Overwatch League player, right? I moved on. I didn't want to do it anymore, and that's why I created the show. However, before that, I was playing for free for like fucking 2 years. Right? I was playing on an academy team for like $2,000 a month or whatever, right? Or, I don't know, $1,500 a month, maybe even less than that, right? I don't even think I was making $2,000 a month, which if you add up, I mean, that's what, $24,000 a year? I only did that for like a couple months, right? So, in that regard, you know, this shit is not exactly something where you can come in and have a sustainable living, right? That is not exactly ideal. The only time you have to do that to make a sustainable, like, future or whatever and invest that money is for, at best, for the average professional player, not the top level, 3 years or so, right? 2 to 3 years, maybe even 1 year. Because in the NBA, it's like 2 or 3 years. I bet you the average professional career like lasts like a year in esports if you looked at every esport, right? I don't know what that'd be interesting if we did a statistical analysis. If we've seen some stats on that, please let me know. But the average career doesn't last that long. So blaming a player for trying to ask for more money in this situation, or for taking the player's side in this situation, you can be mad or however you want. If you're a Cloud9 fanboy, if you're whatever, I don't care, man. I'm always going to take the player's side. That's just my stance on things. You can disagree, agree with me, whatever. Just have a reasonable conversation about it. Don't be mad, okay? It's worth having a reasonable conversation. I will always have a reasonable conversation, even if people are mad at me. We will have a somewhat reasonable conversation in Twitter replies and wherever else, right? That's how I work. That's how I operate. That's how we always will operate, right? So on that note, what the good things Cloud9 have done, right? They have over like 100 fucking employees for them, right? They have probably more than that. I don't know. I mean, obviously more than that, but I don't know the exact number. I think there's speculation they have like 100 people working for them. They're like a $22 million plus company currently, right? They're worth a lot of money. Jack in Cloud9 have created a successful business where it's not possible to usually do that, right? And that's the other side of this. You know how I was saying how I don't really care about where the team's standpoint in terms of how much money they're making, whatever. It's because they practice business tactics, right? They're very good. They work with agents, and the agents also understand how to negotiate and also understand how to get in bed with some of these teams that pay them off, first of all, that fucking pay these guys off, and then in turn also work with players and make them come in for less salary, right? So, okay, so apparently according to Forbes, they're valued at $350 million, so way more than I said. Okay, apparently according to Forbes, that they're valued that much. But anyways, point being is that as a player, imagine this, okay? If you're defending a $350 million company compared to a kid that just turned 18 and is trying to negotiate with this $350 million company, you think that usually people that work in these type of companies at higher level positions that get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year would have like fucking 5 or 10 years of experience, right? Think about it this way. You maybe have 1 year of experience going into esports as a professional player, right? You have maybe 1 year. Okay? And that's like you have zero, as fucking Greg Doucette would say, experience working with negotiations in these like regards with these teams, right? You don't have any experience with doing this unless you're some sort of business prodigy that also wanted to play professional esports, right? Most players don't understand their value until it's too little too late, right? And that's what my main complaint was, is that Cloud9, even though they do treat everybody well, and this could very well be elitism, this definitely is to some degree. This is like how the NBA, people were like, the top players will always complain they need more money, right? It's kind of along that same regards because in other regards, Cloud9 has been good. Cloud9 has paid on time. They've hired people. They give people jobs where they wouldn't, right? My main concern is that they have like this limit to where they keep people, right? So, for example, where they make their money. They don't make their money off those people that are very, very on the bottom right, that are never going to be stars, that are just people kind of serving their purpose in the league or whatever, average players, pretty much simple players that played for Cloud9, whatever other teams they've owned or whatever, right? These guys aren't making Cloud9 money, and Cloud9 knows that, right? So what Cloud9 does is they hire a bunch of those people and have very good scouting talent to where they can get people like Tens. You know, they can get people like Stewie, right? They can get these people on very reasonable contracts where they're most likely pretty underlooked, and then we'll hold them to this contract. They'll offer them an insane Alcatraz of a contract at the very beginning that player has no idea what he's signing up for because he's just a fucking kid, and he just signs it and he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then sooner or later it becomes like a fucking Tens where he's getting like 10,000, 15,000 viewers on his stream, and then he's like, oh fuck, I'm worth way more than this shitty ass contract they offered me, but I'm fucking stuck in it for 3 fucking years because I didn't have a goddamn agent and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? That's my main complaint, is that these people that have the potential to become stars are pretty much not forced necessarily, but their only options are these contracts, these Alcatraz contracts, when they're young and they're impressionable and don't know any better. We'll sign these contracts where they're just fucking stuck to a shitty salary or stuck to shitty sponsor obligations or whatever else for a long time. This isn't just a Cloud9 thing. I just want to make this clear. This is not just a Cloud9 thing. The only reason that I brought up Cloud9 was because they've been headlined in the news so much recently, with Hiko, with Fortnite. That's the only reason I brought up Cloud9. Maybe we'll make a video for each fucking esports team at this point just to make people happy, to feel like we've talked about everybody. You know, maybe we will. You know, maybe we'll make a problem with fucking NVS or fucking LDLC or whoever else that we want to fucking go about, right? Every organization has done wrong. LA Valiant, right? These teams, Immortal, IGC. Nobody's safe. Even the best organizations have had issues, right? And that's the point that I'm trying to get on, right? Not necessarily the good sign. Not necessarily what these organizations have done well, because they have. Everybody fucking knows it. They wouldn't be worth $350 million if they didn't do a lot of things right. Okay? That's what it is. So my only purpose is to talk about the things that aren't talked about, the things that aren't brought up in these conversations, these player negotiations, these contract negotiations, agents, you know, these type of things that aren't brought up, that aren't known in the space. I want to bring these to light and make them more of a topic of debate, right? I want these things to be public knowledge, contracts and that kind of stuff. You know, all this kind of shit, right? Because I really want to make this clear. I do not give a shit about how much these teams lose, right? I don't think that if you think esports is a bubble or whatever, if you think esports is a bubble, which it very well could be, I think that you should, as a player, make as much money as you fucking can in fucking dip, okay? You owe nothing. As a player, you owe zero. You owe absolutely fucking nothing to these teams. Okay, they'll tell you in negotiations when you talk to them over the phone, over Discord or whatever, they'll be like, oh man, we're losing so much money in esports, whatever. Well, don't fucking invest in esports then, huh? Don't fucking invest in esports and don't blame the fucking player for your bullshit, okay? That's not what it fucking is. These players deserve to make as much money as they fucking can, driving up market value or not, whatever, that doesn't fucking matter, okay? Signing these people to Alcatraz worth contracts without having proper experience or knowledge or whatever of who's in fucking bed with who, that doesn't matter, right? None of that shit does, okay? That doesn't matter to the player. What matters to the player, because it's a bubble, is make as much money as you fucking can and dip as soon as possible, right? That's what you should probably do, because I guarantee you, because of the volatility of the scene, because people aren't saying that players are worth this money or whatever, people want to go into other directions. I don't even know if I could tell you, this is another thing in itself, but pretty much most Overwatch League players in Overwatch League are not looking at potential streaming careers, not looking about staying in esports, because they see it as a bubble. They see esports as a bubble, right? So what the fuck is the fix here if players ask for more money? Is it because of the players, or is it because of these organizations that come in and spend the money, right? So whose fault fucking is it? It's not the players' fault, in my opinion, okay? You can have your opinion on whose fault it is, whatever. That's pretty much rant done, though. I think that the players deserve more money rather than the teams. I understand they're not worth that money, okay? People, you should understand that these esports teams are losing money, but you should also understand that I don't think the players should give a shit, right? I don't think they should. If you're trying to compete at the highest level in your professional esport, that's what you should be focusing on, not how much your fucking organization is making, right? Unless they're paying you extra to do so. You should be focusing on the competitive nature, and that is all, in getting the fucking bag, right? Don't give a shit about what these teams are making or whatever, because that is used as a guilt trip. That is pretty much used as a guilt trip and is trying to convince you that you should take less money because they're not making money. It's like, bro, just don't get fucking vested in esports if you're not going to spend the goddamn money, if you're not going to spend market value, right? Just don't get in fucking vested, all right? It's just that goddamn simple. But it's not just about Cloud9. I just want to reiterate again, it is not just about Cloud9. And like I said, a majority of our show, people don't get this, is literally just opinions, okay? We say the news and then we say our opinions on these news, right? If you want a fucking actual average news esports show, go somewhere else, because that's not this, okay? That's not what this is. If you don't like me on Reddit or YouTube or wherever else, that's fine. You can go somewhere else. It's just that simple, right? Just that simple. I would recommend anybody to stop posting my content to Reddit or whatever, but at this point, it's just going to go up wherever people want it to go up, so what the fuck ever, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's the idea behind it. I understand people have their issues or whatever, but like I said, I'm of the opinion that players should make as much money as they fucking can, and nothing else matters to that player, and nothing else should matter to that player. If you're an esports person that's like, oh, what about the longevity of the scene? Well, it's like, bro, you're probably also leeching money off of some of these organizations. That's what everybody's doing right now. If so many people consider this shit to be a bubble, it's because everybody in the fucking scene is a leech. That's what it is. All right, if that's what it is, just play the fucking game and try to earn as much money as you possibly fucking can, dude. It's like being at the arcade and everything's fucking rigged. Okay, try to go and rig the system yourself instead of talking about how it's such a bubble or it's gonna break, it's gonna bust or whatever. Bro, you're a part of the fucking problem, son. Everybody's a part of the fucking problem. That's what it is. Make as much money as you fucking can with these investors that are coming in and are wasting their money. All right, that's what you should do. Is it that simple? Is it that hard to understand? Are people that scared of admitting that they're greedy? I don't think you should be. I don't think you should be. I think most people should be apparent and should be obvious with their greed. I think everybody in the world, obviously as a human, you want to make fucking money, right? It's no different in esports. It's no different in esports, okay? That's how it is. Rant done for that situation. You know what I'm saying? I just think that this whole thing was taken to a degree where I liked it. I wanted to kind of reiterate and kind of come with more forward my opinion, I suppose, and maybe more facts. I think in the original thing, we were kind of, I do want to admit, we were going like day by day. We misread what Hiko said. I put words in his mouth when I didn't mean to, right? That was poor reporting on my part. I do admit to that. But that's things we're trying to learn. Like I said, we're trying to learn how to be a better show. I'm trying to learn on being a better host, that kind of stuff, right? But, yeah, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion, my take. I don't know. So, hopefully it made sense.
You say like how C9, you obviously have connections with a whole bunch of people in esports and stuff, and you've heard complaints about C9 and stuff. So have you heard about it from other places?
Outside of just the players' mouths, yes.
Well, like not
from
C9.
Agents. What do you mean? Oh, from not C9?
Like any other esports organization.
It's like I said, it's widespread. It really is widespread. It's like a virus. Like I said, every esports org has some darkness to it or whatever. That's how businesses work, right? It's a business or whatever. Like I get that. I understand that. That doesn't mean we can't talk about it in this degree, right? But yeah, I've heard things about a lot of teams. I'm sure every team has something, that they're hiding or whatever, right? That's just how it is. That's how the fucking space works, right?
So we're just saying that we're pointing out C9 just because it's public, it's like I'm just thinking you're saying that every single one is like that. So shouldn't we be fair in criticizing all of them and not just C9?
Yes, that's why I was saying we should make an individual video about it. I think that it was just like a boiling point for me that I talked about it yesterday, because we've talked about Cloud9 specifically multiple times this year. Literally in 2021, I think it's been like 3 or 4 times, whereas other organizations, it's maybe been once. I don't even think we've talked about other organizations like twice, because they're just not in the public news or headlines or whatever. It's just that Cloud9 has literally been in the headlines of this kind of shit, unfortunately for them, for the past 3 months, pretty much, and that's just kind of why it was such the main topic of the thing. Otherwise I would call it, maybe we'll make another video eventually on the problem with esports, right?
Yeah. We'll go through every single one.
We'll go through every single organization if we fucking have to. And I mean, obviously we'll get blacklisted or whatever, blackballed. I can't imagine Cloud9 likes the video we made about them, But I can't imagine it really matters because, like I said, they're worth $350 million. I guarantee you anything that we say about Cloud9 does not affect how much money they're going to make in the next year. It just doesn't. So why the fuck should they care, right? Why the fuck should they care? It's their public image, I guess. But like I mentioned, every esports team has this problem, right? And we'll talk about it eventually to some degree.
And apparently it's even affecting small ones like Equinox.
Oh yeah. Shitty thing for them to do. They just dropped all their players without saying a damn word.
Oh, God,
so they dropped their whole team yesterday, and we found out, like, I only found out today, so it's too late to ask Goopy Noopy, you know? And if you look at their social media, it literally only talked about the competitive director, Goopy Noopy, going on our show. And it's just, you know, where's the news? Why aren't they talking about this?
Yeah.
Just dropped their fucking whole Valorant team.
Yeah.
And 4 out of the 5 players who signed with Equinox competed together in beta and early phases of esports, right? So, I mean, they knew each other. It kind of sucks to just entirely get dropped.
Yeah.
Like, the only way that we knew about them being free agents now is they revealed this as like, hey, sign us now, instead of Equinox saying literally a single thing.
Yeah, this is a little concerning. Listen, we had Goopy Noopy on the show yesterday, competitive slash director, I think is his title, competitive director of Equinox. It's kind of interesting, man. It's kind of interesting. Like I said, we're not going to take the benefit of the doubt we're not going to give organizations necessarily the benefit of the doubt, I guess. Is the director of competition, right? So he's the co-founder director of competition. Now, I don't want to throw Goopy Noopy under the bus or anything like that. This whole scenario is like I said, I'm not going to give organizations the benefit of the doubt here. So in this situation, this fucking sucks for the players, right? Obviously it does. Yeah. I mean, to just be dropped out of the fucking blue is fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But on that same regard, I'm not defending Equinox in this situation. I feel like this is one of those situations where we also need to learn from people in the past, right? And like I said, there's nothing in this situation that I'm not trying to hurt people's businesses or whatever, right? Like the entire purpose of this is not necessarily hurt people's businesses. However, you have to understand tier 3 organizations, because that's what Equinox is, right? It's a tier 3 organization. Mm-hmm. Maybe, you know, whatever else you want to say. Not even, I mean, they are like an academy team, I suppose, but it's literally just a starting organization. I hope people would get that some of these organizations are kind of like, are going to be shady to work with. I just got to be real. Like, I don't know much about Equinox, and obviously they're still an up-and-coming and new organization. But usually when you sign to new organizations, up-and-coming organizations, you should be concerned. Like, you should be watching out for shady contracts, shady everything, basically. You know, this kind of shit where you just dropped out of nowhere. This is just kind of red flags to organizations that either A, don't really know what they're doing just yet, or B, just orgs you probably shouldn't work with just yet, right? I mean, that's just kind of what it is. It takes time for organizations to build rep, and if anything bad like this happens, that hurts Equinox. Like, that hurts Equinox for sure. Like, this is terrible that you just drop players out of fucking nowhere, man. Like, sheesh. I mean, I guess it's not out of nowhere because they didn't make it past the open qualifiers for VCT, right?
Yeah, they placed top 16 in the qualifiers, so you know they weren't exactly doing great. But I mean,
you still should have some notification that you're fucking.
I don't think you can just drop them, right?
Ugh. I don't know, dude. That Valorant is also such a volatile scene right now, man. It's weird. It's weird. It just reminds me of Overwatch in the early days, bro. I mean, even worse than that, though. Even worse because there's even more organizations and more people involved. It just feels like this is just a fucking like feasting grounds of shit, right? Like it's just, it doesn't seem like it's unlikely for somebody to get, like, a large part of the population of professional players in Valorant to get fucked over, I guess. I don't know.
So maybe they'll have, I don't know. I don't think they have like a whole lot of sets of rules for anything in this situation. Like Valorant has
not Riot. No, not
Riot doesn't have anything.
No, they're just a tournament organizing. They're just tournament organizing right now. They're not actually a league or anything like that. So that this kind of thing, like I said, it's the Wild West. You just expect to get fucked over and be very, very if you're a player, just be very cautious. I was about to say curious for some reason. Very cautious. Because you don't know who you're working with.
Do they get paid in tier 3?
I don't know. We don't know their contracts. Like, all this kind of shit, like in esports, we don't know anything about, really. unless you've worked with the team or talked to agents. Like agents will usually, like agents are legally not allowed to disclose information. But, you know, a large part of the time, if you are, you know, close with agents and stuff like that, then obviously you can do some sort of shady workaround or something, dude. I don't know. Like, this kind of shit happens all the time. I don't know how much they were paid. I imagine it was probably somewhere, I don't know how much it was. I was told Valorant players, if I could pull up the exact DM, Valorant players are pretty much like grossly overpaid right now, which I'm fine with. Like I said, power to the players over anybody else. But in turn, that makes it so, you know, orgs probably won't stick around for that long because it's hard to afford the financial backing. So you should probably keep looking for places that can, you know, like the FaZe Clan or whatever, or like top organizations that are willing to pay up the ass. Go to those ones, you know, that obviously have the money to upfront to show you, I guess. Yeah. But franchising should be interesting if it does ever come and like prohibit these type of things. But I guess franchising is not the only solution, though. You know, players' unions are, I guess. I don't know. Interesting scenario. All right, we're gonna move on, guys, a little bit. We're gonna talk about this because we mentioned the Cloud9 rant yesterday. Like I said, we talked about it towards the end. I brought up Jake Lucky, right? And I brought up Esports Talk, and I just want to quickly explain what my opinion is on Esports Talk and explain to you what their show is. And where I went wrong explaining and talking about them yesterday, right? So, for those that don't know, Esports Talk is like an unbiased esports / like streamer / like Twitch news channel on YouTube, right? So, think of it as like a better version of like a drama alert mixed with fucking like esports, like professional news and that kind of shit, right? So, think about like that, like more professional setup almost, yeah. So I don't know. It's just like recently I made a comment, like an offhanded comment that really I didn't mean any harm with it. But I made a comment, I said something like along the lines how we're not influenced by esports organizations and stuff like that. So usually we'll say whatever we have to say. You know what I'm saying? And if we are influenced by esports organizations, we'll obviously come out and say it. Like, you know, for example, Gen G or whatever. Like Arnold will come into my chat and donate like 10 gifted subs or whatever, right? So in that regard, obviously we have some connection to Gen G, although I will still call them out and fucking bullshit or whatever. It's just I haven't heard about any of it just yet, right? So in this situation, obviously, you know, Jake is not actually, from what I know, Jake is not actually like bought out by the organization, stuff like that, sent jerseys. It's just a little bit like my comment was like, oh, we're not sent jerseys like Esports Talk or whatever, right? That was my comment, right? And that's just overall not a very fair comment for me because of the fact that, I mean, obviously just on a pure jealousy, because obviously I've not sent any jerseys yet. You know, I just have my fucking jerseys from when I played professionally, but that's about it. So I'm not getting any jerseys like your boy, I'm saying, which is unfortunate. Oh, also, apparently
just want our jerseys.
Real quick. Apparently Equinox just released something 38 minutes ago as the show started. Can we actually touch on this real quick?
Yeah, you want to read it off?
Read it off.
What is this? Okay. Oh, wait, no, this was 38 minutes ago today. This is of the last topic we were talking about. Maybe we'll edit this so we can edit this out or whatever. Effective immediately, Equinox would like to announce that we have parted ways with our current professional Valorant roster, and as an organization, we are thankful for their time with Equinox and sincerely wish them the best for their future endeavors. And to our fans, we still intend to compete in Valorant Esports, but we'll be shifting our focus more forward. We will share more details on this front in days and weeks to come. And then the replies
moving forward.
Oh my god, dude. The replies, dude. The replies. One of them's like a fucking dude on a football field. One of them's like a don't worry, found your deleted tweet. Oh my god. They talked about a Balloons TD team. Fucking sheesh, man. They're getting roasted. This was like this kind of shit was like brought up before because of, I think like an LG player was talking about it or something like that on Twitch or on Twitter or something like that. Shitty situation, bro. Shitty situation. Again, we're not taking sides on the situation at all. Just power to the players here. You know what I'm saying? Power to the players. Anyways, back to our talk about Jake Lucky and Esports Talk, right? So I personally really like their show, right? And on top of that, like I said, my comment about not getting jerseys and stuff like that was really honestly just out of pure jealousy, just because I don't get my own fucking jerseys, right? And I mean, just come out like, I just don't get any jerseys, bro. Like, fuck, man. Like, of course I'm going to be salty about that, right? And Jake Lucky and Esports Talk have built this show over the course of, I want to say, like over 2 years. They built this show where they report daily on news and topics and stuff like that in an unbiased perspective, right? Obviously, my perspective is biased. So we have two different things. I don't think it's worth, like I said, they have their own haters in Reddit or whatever and like hiding in the woodworks pretty much. Like this is like a common thing, right? This is like a pretty common situation for them. And I don't think for the most part you should like compare, I guess, our shows, right? Like our shows are not really comparable, I suppose. Like I said, my show is very biased. I have personal opinions on things, and that's really what they are. And you should take your own opinion on the news topics of wherever sources you find them, right? But that's when with the territory of giving your own opinion, people will not like your opinion, right? That's just the nature of it, right? So in regards to myself and Jake Lucky, we have two different shows, right? His show is more of a strictly news show. Mine's more of an expo player's perspective, opinions on esports, on Twitch, on streamers, on all bunch of shit, pretty much similar shit we cover, but we just do it in different ways, right? So in my head, I see us less as competitors, right, and more as co-workers almost, right? Like they've been around in the scene for longer. I truly respect their work, their craft. They've kind of shown, and Esports Talk have shown, that this is like a viable career option, right? That you can do this kind of shit. When I was also thinking about this idea, like I said, 2 years ago, or over 4 years ago, 5 years, when I started playing professional Overwatch, I was like, fuck, why is there no esports shit? Why is there no like overall system? I think ESPN had their setup. I don't know if it was actually around in like 2015 or 2014 or something like that. But I was like, why is there nothing like this? You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to create something 5 years ago, but I didn't think that it was a viable career path. I didn't think it was possible because I didn't think people were interested, right? And then Jake Lucky comes along in Esports Talk and actually develops good content and produces videos daily, right? This kind of shit. He proved it's actually viable to talk about this kind of shit, right? My show today could not or would not exist if not for Esports Talk and Jake Lucky, right? Their show itself is a front runner in this whole area of expertise and this whole esports thing because it's still so new, right? And it's still not really exploded yet, right? I think myself and Jake have had personal conversations where like, yeah, dude, like even he hasn't figured it out. Even nobody's figured it out because guess what? It's still new. Everybody's still getting into it, right? Nobody's really understood the esports market entirely, right? Without sounding cringy or whatever, Like the whole situation probably is a gold mine, the way we see it, is a gold mine lying in wait, right? Like we think that, at least the opinion of Jake Lucky, of myself, of organizations like G4T, I think they're called. I don't know if that's the exact name. The one with the League of Legends commentators and stuff like that, and Olivia and Frostgaren. That's very good. They do their own shit. That's awesome. It's very new, but it's also awesome. And like a lot of us genuinely believe that esports will be this thing where you can just go and go to YouTube, wherever, like the fitness industry, right? Like the fitness industry currently is exploding, right? It's absolutely huge. If you looked at bodybuilders like, More Plates, More Dates, or Greg Doucette, or Will Tennyson, these people have proven over the past year during COVID that the fitness industry is expanding and becoming something larger than it once was, right? And I think that's the same thing with esports, the same potential, right? Esports is not there just yet, but I genuinely think that the fan base is there to create and foster a larger fan base and a community that allows for more people to enter and realize as a viable career path. So obviously in our situation, this isn't exactly viable just yet, but that's the end goal, right? That is the end goal, is to make it a viable career path, to make sure that esports long-term has opportunities like Esports Talk and like these talk shows that are potentially viable for pros to even get into when they retire and stuff like that, right? Like I think that these type of things will be awesome to see more blossom. Like we're still at the ground floor. Think about it this way. Esports Talk has been around for over 2 years and we're still at the ground floor, right? We're still at the ground floor. We barely have people like the Score Esports now with their documentaries and stuff coming out, being awesome there, right? There's a lot of interesting areas of expertise where people lie. And I think specifically with Esports Talk, I just like his content. I think he's one of the front runners and one of the OGs of the scene, I guess. And kind of showed it, I guess it was viable to me personally. It's like, I just don't think that people should compare our shows or really hate on Esports Talk or Jake Lucky or anything like that. I just don't think it's worth it. Because like I said, I see us more as co-workers, and we kind of help each other more than, like as competitors, honestly, because we're not. The algorithm helps each other, right? We're recommended to each other into each other's recommended feeds based on the content we talk about. If more people are talking about a certain content piece, the more recommended of that same content piece you'll see, and then you'll see their opinions. It's a whole thing. I don't want to get into it. It's different though, and esports is more viable, as I think Max will probably allude to, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So
the next topic, baby.
Yesterday, I think we talked about how China was getting into the legitimacy of esports and how like governments are starting to recognize it. And we were talking about how it might never come here at all, but already today there's like something happened in Nevada where some guy in the state Senate is putting up a bill for the Nevada Esports Commission.
What?
So Dustin, I know you're into MMA and stuff. You know, like
hell yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
The what is it called? Nevada Athletic Commission, whatever it's called. Oh, whoa. That's uncalled for.
Uppercut.
I thought you did wrestling, not boxing.
No, I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and boxing, but I did it for I did one session of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I did like a month of boxing. Oh. So I never sparred anybody.
Saying you could take me down.
Yeah, wait, I can find my gloves. Keep talking about your. Let me find my gloves. Keep talking about it.
But anyway, it's basically looking at the boxing and stuff, and it's going to be like the esports version of that. What they're trying to make the Nevada Esports Commission, and basically it's going to try to promote esports, promoting it in Las Vegas and Reno and things like that. It's going to have like a rule set of like. You have to register through their commission in order to have proper esports tournaments there over $1,000. And it can do it can regulate stuff like what happens when people are match fixing or cheating, what kind of legal actions can happen, and what kind of drugs are bad and good.
Oh, they're deciding that like USADA?
Yeah. Oh, so they're actually making it legit in Las Vegas and Nevada now.
Oh shit. Well, maybe I should start punching some of those fucking commissioners. You know what I'm saying? Just come in. I had the right one. I just didn't put it on because it was on the top shelf and I couldn't reach. But yeah, this is my boxing glove, man. I told you I was into boxing. I think your brother was trying to buy these gloves off me or something. Or was it one of our friends' brother was trying to buy these gloves? I tried to resell them.
I don't think it was any of my brothers.
Turns out nobody wants boxing gloves on Craigslist. So if anybody wants some boxing gloves, I fucking quit the sport a long time ago. But I could. I think I remember how to wrap my hands. What?
Give them to me.
You want boxing gloves?
Yeah.
You actually?
Yeah.
Why do you want boxing gloves?
I want to learn box.
Bunch his brothers.
You have to have. They're certain size. I think our hands are similar sizes, but it does require. You have to have like a certain size basically, to do it. Anthony would beat me up probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the boxing gloves from him and just beat him up right on the spot.
But why would you need boxing gloves to do that?
Oh, to protect my hands.
I forgot how to wrap. All right, I give up. It's been years since I fucking tape. I don't even remember how to fucking wrap my own hands with the fucking safety shit, man. Dude,
I don't know. Do you remember the thing about Conor McGregor and how he was against the Nevada Athletic Commission for like fining him and stuff?
Yeah. So that would happen in esports, basically.
Maybe like if these guys fine esports players, are they gonna put up a hissy fit as well? It's like we're never gonna play in Nevada tournaments again.
Yeah, I mean maybe that could happen. I don't think so though, because I don't think esports players are as big of personalities as like MMA players. You know what I'm saying? Because like. For example, in MMA, like Conor McGregor is like not the first person, because you can say Chael Sonnen and a bunch of older people like were the originators of trash talk and stuff like that. But Conor McGregor kind of was the first person to really like get massively huge in the scene, like past stardom in the fucking scene, and just absolutely like go crazy. And then what happened was after that, then a lot of people started copying Conor McGregor in MMA. And that's why you see like Colby Covington and a bunch of other people in MMA that are like fucking batshit crazy because they just copied him, right? Whereas in esports, we don't really have people that are I don't know, like people don't really, I don't know, just either don't appreciate trash talk in esports, or I don't know, like we see people that you do saying like, oh, we do see people that are like big or whatever, right? but we haven't had somebody that was like known for the trash talk that hit insane stardom, if that makes sense, right? That was like insanely good, won a fucking chip, and then also was on Jimmy Fallon fucking talking shit to traditional sports or whatever, right? Like that's the fuck. Oh my God, we broke the fucking code. Oh my God, dude, we need a world champion like like Matthew DeLisi or somebody to literally go out there onto a professional talk show and shit talk actual traditional sports. Holy shit. We broke the code. We broke the fucking code. All we need is a very, very talented player, a really good player. Go on Jimmy Fallon and be like, yeah, I think esports makes you more badass than boxing or MMA. Or like, yeah, I think that esports are harder than traditional sports, and here's why. And lay out like a big thing and call fucking NFL players pussies or something like that, dude. Like, we need somebody to go fucking hard, man. We need someone to go goddamn hard. You know what I'm saying? Dude.
That could backfire, though.
It doesn't fucking matter because guess what?
People would just be like, oh, this fucking nerd.
Yeah, but guess what? What if the nerd is fucking like Nick Merckx, like huge fucking steroids user? You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine this guy was huge.
Then it would work.
Okay, I'm not. That isn't true. Nick Merckx probably doesn't use steroids. It probably would work. That's what I'm saying. Get fucking
because
bulky.
It's not going to be it's like Conor McGregor. He's like
he gets Sinatra
up and built, and then he has a good way of like talking shit about everyone. Do we have anyone like that in esports?
That's what I'm saying. We need somebody like that. That's the fucking code for us to hit stardom in esports and to become something bigger. You get me? Listen, I know it's outlandish.
Don't have that guy yet.
I know it's outlandish, but it's like it would work, right? It's like the solution that, like, can you name me a better option for esports to hit stardom? What, just time? You think there's time and more people playing video games? Is that going to get better backing that way?
That's what we have now.
Because look at like Booga, for example. Booga is a nice kid, very good representative of Fortnite, but he's not a shit talker. And he's not some fucking hyped up crazy dude like Conor McGregor levels. Like, imagine if Booga fucking talked so much shit and was this absolutely crazy guy, dude. I imagine that Booga probably would have like 10 times the amount of followers or like 10 times the amount of people paying attention to him, right? Nobody that's reached this level of stardom of whatever, right, has been able to, I don't know, talk shit to traditional people in media or something. Just create some sort of controversy to then explode. Because like the classic Chael Sonnen says, just to go back to MMA, like, this shit it's entertainment, right? That's you're competing for, you know, at the professional level or whatever, but at the end of the day, you're just entertainment. So make it as entertaining as possible, right? Give people a reason to care, people to pay attention, even if you're the heel. Even if you're the heel, that shouldn't fucking matter because your only purpose, same with my purpose. My purpose is to be a heel to some degree, even now, right? It's to add to the entertainment industry and to make things interesting. What would otherwise be boring, right? Would otherwise be dull and just, it's nice to see people compete for competition and stuff like that. But guess what? That kind of shit doesn't bring people in, right? What brings people in is the trash talk and that kind of shit. Like, that will bring the normies in, right? That'll bring people that are drinking beers and talking shit and throwing shit or whatever, you know? Like, the crazy people that really is just your average person that wants to go see some fucking people do something crazy, right? That's like the big purpose. Like, it's like how people go to like NASCAR games to see people crash, right? Like, you just want to see some crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Is that what you go there for?
All right, I'm not going to get into the specifics here. That's not why I go to NASCAR games. That's why I played NASCAR, the game, like as a kid, PlayStation 2. I drive backwards on the track. You know what I'm saying? Dude, those were the days. I know this is a little bit of a tangent, and I might be a little bit of a sociopath, but I was the person that would drive backwards on the track in NASCAR and try to hit as many cars as I can. Yeah. I don't know.
The kind of player in Forza that intentionally hits other players instead of racing.
That's what you did? Or that's what you didn't?
No, I'm saying that's what you sound like you do.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, I was an asshole. Yeah, but it was to AI, so it didn't really matter, you know? But I would do it to real people, too. I'm just an asshole, dude. We've already been over this. I like, you know, something's wrong with me. I like seeing people get hurt and that kind of stuff. You know, like, that's why I like MMA. Not like MMA. I don't like seeing MMA people get hurt. But like, I'm at, like in like elementary school, I'd see a kid like trip and like scrape his knee, and I just start fucking laughing. I'm pretty sure I'm fucking psychotic to some degree, dude. I don't know why, but it's just funny seeing people get fucking like slightly hurt, not like deathly injured. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I don't know. It's just like slip ups. Anybody like if you're telling me you haven't gone to YouTube and seen like those fail videos where you see somebody like jump off a roof and fucking hit their fucking leg on the pool side or something like that. Like
I guess those are pretty funny.
But that in like real life, you know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know.
You don't go help them.
Well, it was the fucking teacher's job. You know what I'm saying? Not my job. I'm just fucking. That kid has a bloody nose now, and it's not my fucking fault, dude. That's not my fault. You know
Also, relevant to the topic, I guess now esports is a legal term.
What? When?
And
as of when?
I mean, that's what they used in the bill. They call it esports.
See, let's look up when esports. Well, it's not. You still have autocorrect though. By the way, if you guys know, autocorrect has not adjusted to this change. Esports. Well, there's no definition from Google. There's no direct definition from Google.
Maybe this will dictionary. Put it into place.
Is it in? It's not in the. Oh my! You don't want to hear this. Are you guys ready for this?
What? Where is it?
Dictionary E-sports.
Oh no!
It says plural noun esports.
A lot of places put the hyphen there. Yeah.
Oh my god! Millions of people enjoy watching E-sports. That's like it's like the EA. It's in the game thing, dude. E-sports. It's in the game.
It's in the game.
Dude, I fucking oh my god. I wonder who that commentator. Anyways, this is getting off topic a little bit. I was just wondering who that fucking VA was of that dude that said that. That guy's a good voice. EA Sports. It's in the game, dude. The good old days. Anyways, speaking about traditional people being weirdos, that's cool that they use that in the bill. However, traditional sports says, you know, a glasses company. This is why I took my glass off at the beginning, because it was all leading up to this very moment. Company by the name of Oakley has sponsored Scump. Scumpy Boy from Call of Duty is now working with Oakley, man. The famous sponsor in traditional sports for people like Kyler Murray, you know, like some famous NFL players, some famous golfers, that kind of stuff. I'm sure Tiger Woods has something with Oakley or some shit. Like, for the most part, the traditional sports-wise, Oakley is absolutely huge. If you haven't heard of Oakley, you probably don't live in America, because every redneck in the fucking world probably owns a pair of Oakleys, right? I don't know, like, how many people do you guys know that owns Oakleys? Max and Anthony, how many people do you guys know that owns Oakleys?
Not a single one.
Oh, what the fuck, bro? You just ruined my entire analogy, Anthony. Fuck you, dude. Piece of shit. Well, can
Listen,
we go?
Man,
no,
I'm a cheap fucker.
Yeah, that's just because we all go to Walmart to buy
fucker.
Some knockoffs or something like that. Yeah.
About the
Everyone I know
Ray-Bans
is
right
cheap
now.
fucker.
Yeah, it's the
I ain't buying
Ray-Bans.
shit.
Well, we don't live in Texas. I think Arizona is like that mix between like California and like Texas kind of culture. But I guess we're in between New Mexico and anyways, regardless, like fucking I don't know. We probably live in Texas, but I like every time that, for example, if you guys ever played, I played football as a kid, and literally every head coach I had would always have like something in his mouth, like a fucking sunflower, and just put his Oakleys on. Wait, no, it'd be like this. Here, I have the glasses for this specific scenario.
You probably have like a toothpick or a leaf or some shit.
Yeah, it's like this, and they'd be like, you know, like, what's going on? Oh fuck, I dropped it. Like they'd be fucking standing on the background, like they'd be like, you know, hey, good play over there, bud. Good play, Bobby. Oh fuck. Hey, good play, Bobby. Good shit, man. Like that would be like the primary like look of most coaches is with these type of glasses, but they'd be Oakleys. Like everybody I knew as a coach in like young like amateur football days when I was a kid, they would all have Oakleys or something, dude. Like it's just
and
like
you can't take it off if it's nighttime.
Nope, can't take it off. It's nighttime. Everybody knows you wear dark glasses indoors at nighttime because it's cool. I mean, because it's useful. Sorry, that's what I meant. Because it's useful.
Yeah, useful.
You also have to have a beer gut, and you have to I don't know if any of them smoked. Oh man, there was. Oh fuck, I don't know if I should tell this story. And do it in front of the kids. Oh, I don't know if I should tell this story. So there is this kid named.
Oh, you have to know.
I don't know if I want to say his name. I'll call him. Should I say? You got okay. I'll say Bobby, right? I'll say Bobby, right?
Right, little Bobby.
So Bobby is, for example, one of my old football. He was a quarterback for my football team when I was in like middle school, right? And Bobby had blonde hair and blue eyes, right? Bobby was the what's it called? What do Nazis call it?
Aryans.
Aryans, right? So Bobby was pretty much that depiction, right? In person. Okay? And Bobby was our quarterback for the team, right? But he wasn't that good. He was okay. He was athletic, but he really wasn't that good of a leader, really wasn't that good of a quarterback. But I'll have you know, the head coach of our team wore these type of glasses, but also he had a hairline that looked oddly similar to a famous leader of Germany, and also conveniently fucking had the exact like dime fucking mustache right over the top of his fucking lip. This guy looked exactly like fucking Hitler.
A football coach?
A football coach. He looked exactly like fucking Hitler. I'm not even trolling you. This guy looked like he had the face same, like it could have been fucking Hitler's like grandson, or I don't fucking know. But this guy was like he looked exactly like Hitler. I'm not even trolling, dude. Like the dude actually had the full tiny mustache, like no beard. His face looked exactly like Hitler's too. Like it was fucking scary being a Jewish player on that team, dude. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm not gonna lie. He put me on the D line 24/7, man. He put me on the grounds floor. You know what I'm saying? Never put me a wide receiver. Put me a running back. He pretty much had me do all the dirty work. The more I think about it, you know, maybe he was like no, I'm just kidding. He did look exactly like Hitler. That part is actually true. But my experience
maybe he's
in football,
a Chaplin fan.
Yeah, I think a lot of my like personal like problems, you know what I'm saying, in life all stem from football. You know what I'm saying? Like all of the good things I've learned, all of the terrible things as well. Like I'm pretty sure I have some form of CTE, which is why I always give some terrible hot takes. Dude, fuck man. Oh shit, dude. All right. Oh yeah. Sorry. So we have something after this. Well, I want to talk about the FaZe Banks thing first, real quick. Actually, after this Oakley scenario is over. Before we go into our live interview, I know Daniel wants to cut to it. I'm sorry, Daniel. But apparently, according to Samantha, when she came in here, should I take these glasses off? By the way, should I take these off? I kind of like them though.
Are they free?
Yeah, no. They were like $20 on Amazon
for those.
Take them off.
They were like 20. Why would I take them? Hey, Max, what do you think? I kind of like them.
Yeah, screw it. Put them on.
Hey, let's get it. Hey, I'm gonna keep the glasses on.
Style
all
points.
Right. In this scenario, so FaZe Banks tried to sell FaZe. Also, yes, our interview today is pre-recorded with Lara. So she was on later today, or she's on after the show. But the show will still be live, if that makes sense. So right after our segment with FaZe, it'll cut to Lara and that conversation and that interview. She was awesome guest, and you'll see why in just a little bit. But first of all, FaZe is apparently in conversation on a podcast recently on episode 22 of The Mom's Basement with Banks, Keemstar, Nadeshot, and Hex. They had the conversation, right? FaZe Banks potentially going to sell FaZe. He said that he wants to, quote, claim the ultimate bag, end quote, for FaZe, and says he's over the internet in their esports scene. He wants to hire some people and just leave, right? So he's pretty much fed up. He's donezo. He wants out of esports. Why that is, I don't know. Maybe I'm speculating that he just doesn't like it being a personality in the scene or something. Because maybe in his book, he's like anything that he says that could potentially offend people or be something that makes him look bad will probably also lose the company money. Is probably the way he sees it. Like he in turn loses FaZe money by being there. Maybe I don't exactly know what that deal is. That's just my speculation. I guess I have to say that now. It's speculating. What the case is. He said he was unaware of how corporate and serious things are. And, you know, he misses the times where he could, you know, like I mentioned, he could go back and act like the way he wanted to. And, you know, be there in the moment and that kind of shit. Whereas, you know, nowadays he has to be more corporate, I guess. Which obviously people would speculate that it's not the case. I guess it's like interesting because we only see FaZe Banks really in the news. Like I want to say like 4 times a year or something like that now. For some shit that happened. But like in the past we'd see like FaZe Banks, oh my god, FaZe Banks, holy shit, what's he doing today? Oh my fucking god, dude. It's like every fucking day is something to do with FaZe Banks. And nowadays it's calmed down. Maybe because of the corporate side of things. You know?
Yeah, you realize what a big business actually means.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you have to change up your ship, or you have to change with the times. You know what I'm saying? You have to change with the times. I understand it. I'm not a businessman, right? None of us are businessmen. And he probably isn't either. That's why he wants out, I imagine, right? But yeah, because he said the gaming scene is trash, and it isn't the same. Do you guys agree with that? You think the scene is trash? The gaming scene is trash? I mean, Max more
scene?
like single player games, stuff like that, right? Do you think that he's just talking about esports and multiplayer games specifically? I guess.
Yeah, probably, because there's a vast amount of different scenes within gaming.
Yeah, it's a little broad. I think he's, but
the Call of Duty scene's trash. He's right.
I mean, is it though?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's less Call of Duty now, though. That's the thing. He's more broad spectrum. Like, he's caring about it. He's less just about Call of Duty these days. So he's like talking about all of gaming.
That.
I still just want to call Call of Duty scene specifically trash.
No, but yeah, I know you do, man. That's because you're a fucking asshole. But like, I think like specifically with FaZe Banks, I think he would rather go back to Call of Duty, just focusing on Call of Duty instead of all the other bullshit. I think is what he's saying, right? He'd like the roots, because the show that he's on with Nade Shot, with Banks and Hex in the podcast, these guys are all, Call of Duty players and formerly professional players in the scene, right? Or not Banks. Banks was never a professional player, I don't think. I could be wrong about that. I think he was always like a trick shotter or whatever. Anyways, basically they're all Call of Duty people though, right? And they've always, I think even Keemstar has been in the Call of Duty scene for a long time too. So it's kind of interesting.
Started.
Yeah, maybe he does want to go back to those days of trash talk of that kind of shit, or he just doesn't want. Maybe just wants to live a quiet life. I don't think so though, because I think this kind of stems from the fact that him going to a club recently, right? If you guys remember, was that FaZe? That was FaZe Banks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a big FaZe party.
Yeah, he was at a club and he was at a club and he got ridiculed for it. We even did a video on it like months ago. Where we talked about how he went to a club and was caught, and then the internet just fucking went out and ridiculed him to shit. So maybe he's like, maybe that was like the straw that broke the camel's back almost. You get me?
Yeah, he just wants to be out of the limelight so he can be a fucking idiot on his own.
Listen, man, I'm not trying to say anything Anthony's trying to say here, because I want a chance to go to some FaZe parties, just because of the fact that I know that I know you don't, but they're fucking awesome. All right, from what I hear. Hey, listen, I'm just saying I don't want to get excluded. I don't want to get blackballed from FaZe parties.
I had enough parties in my college life, man. I'm done.
Well, that is true. That is true. You are party down. That is what happens. I'm not
tired of the gamer life, the gamer scene.
I don't know. A good question. I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I can't. I was told to take the glasses off by the director. He was mad. He wasn't actually mad. I just want to say he was mad.
Fair enough.
Anyways. Yeah, so basically, I'm going to take the glasses off, though. Actually, fuck that. No glasses today. Fuck the glasses. Actually, I'll put them on. Anyways, basically, FaZe and FaZe Banks specifically have mentioned how they want to sell the team. Who the team could be sold to? What do you guys think? I don't know. I'm thinking somebody like Mark Cuban. Yeah. Mark Cuban might be the play, honestly. I actually think Mark Cuban might be the fucking play for this team, dude. I actually think Mark Cuban might be.
Maybe Jeff Bezos.
Can you
Maybe
imagine?
Jeff Bezos? Dude, Jeff Bezos with fucking FaZe Clan, dude? Or fucking Mark Cuban? Any of these guys? Dude.
Pocket change for him.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, how much is how much are they worth? Like $400 million? Maybe less than that? $300 million?
Yeah, I think so. Know. I don't think it's as much as C9.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, I hope he gets his money if he sells the team. That'd be cool. Maybe we'll still hear about him in the news, probably, though. I think that will never end with FaZe Banks, most likely. And we'll probably hear about him until he's old and dying. So, yeah, that's that's the regular show today. But, we had a guest later. We had a guest in just a second here. We'll have the VOD cut, too. But thanks for coming to the line portion of the show. We're going to cut to a pre-recorded segment with Lara Lunardi, she's a writer for Dot Esports. I'll give the intro. I'll let former me give the intro. See you guys in the fucking interview. Bye-bye. Somebody that works for Dot Esports on their LE signs primarily, and then also has some awesome cosplays. Lara Lunardi, what's going on, Lara?
Let's go, Lara.
Hey, let's go.
Hello.
We do it again. This is awesome. It's actually awesome because we got to redo it again, because usually we just told you, we can't do this. Usually we can't do it twice over, but because this is pre-recorded, we can. So actually, thank you for asking to come in early, honestly. So thanks for coming, Lara.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So third time, I guess. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. It's good to talk to you, because obviously recently, because I know, especially with Dot, they've tried to contact us a lot, or like we've been in contact back and forth, and I've always also loved their content, specifically, the articles and stuff like that. I was curious, like what made you go with the decision to kind of transfer from, cosplaying more and doing that a lot, and then transferring also just into doing interviews and this kind of stuff for Dot Esports instead of other stuff, maybe?
So it's funny because everyone thinks I take cosplay professionally, but I never have. It's always just been, sort of what I do to unwind. I just really enjoy crafting and making things and putting up, like pretty sets and taking photos and doing all that stuff. So it's my hobby, but I think my career choice kind of makes sense with my degree, which is in game development. So I'm very interested in the analytical parts of, a video game. So I just had the opportunity to interview for my previous outlet, which was Invent Global, and then from there I got to do more of what I love, and now I'm with Dot Esports to create some exciting new content.
Well, you mentioned how you obviously have a degree in game development, and do you have any specific things about game development that you really liked and maybe potentially want to get back into? Like, for example, maybe Riot's looking for some more game developers or something like that. Like what did you love most about game development? I guess and why? Yeah, I guess what would you like most about doing that degree and working in that area?
It's hard to say right now what would fit best, but at the time when I was studying, to give you some insight, I finished college in 2018, and I wanted to become either a character artist or work with 3D. So I was very much into the artistic side, which is no surprise, I guess, because I do all the cosplay stuff, and it's kind of mingles, the 3D modeling, the 3D printing, it goes together. But nowadays that I have all this experience with writing, this experience with communicating with an audience, I would either like to work with producing or maybe to even help craft stories and, work with lore. I'm a big fan of lore. That kind of person.
Oh, yeah? Wait, so who would you say is better? Because obviously I'm an Overwatch guy. You're League of Legends girl. What do you think in terms of lore-wise? I don't know how much Overwatch have you played? Have you played any or not much at all?
I've played a lot of Overwatch. But
do you know much about the lore and that kind of stuff?
I do know about the lore, yes.
So whose lore is better, League of Legends or Overwatch?
I feel like it's hard to compete when League of Legends has been out for much longer, and they've had a lot more time to develop into the story of those characters and how they're bringing them into the game. Like as an example, like Lucian and Senna, and now how she's part of the game, etc. Overwatch has very interesting stories, and I do love that they have a Brazilian character representing my culture. So that kind of wins some points with me. But sorry, League of Legends is just.
No, it's okay. I understand. Listen, I'm not as into lore as you, obviously. But so how did you even get into start covering specifically LEC? Because obviously, like you said, you're from Brazil. That's still LEC's European freaking organization. Obviously, how did you even transfer over from maybe working in Brazil and that scene to then starting to maybe cover LEC instead of something like LCS or something like that?
So I got my education in the United States, and in 2018, I got my first job ever. After graduating, I worked with Vision Entertainment, and they partially own Echo Fox, or maybe the other way around. I don't actually know how it went. But that's when I actually got exposed to, the professional League of Legends scene. I used to play League of Legends since I was in freaking middle school, but then to actually see it on a professional level like that and be inserted in a team environment and get to see the boys training and going to the LCS, that was actually the first time that I got to see it, right? And I thought it was really interesting. From there, we all know what happened. And I ended up being picked up by Invent Global. They needed someone to help with their social media and with their branding. And I was like, hey, I could probably do that. So I started working with them, and I started getting involved into editorial. I've never done anything like that prior, but just one day I was like, hey, I'm going to go down to the LCS and see what it is that our reporters do over there, I know what the broadcast does, how they interview, but what their work is actually like. It's important to be able to promote it. And then I spent a weekend with my colleagues, Nick Geraci, and the environment was really fun. The press room felt right. I clicked with those people. We instantly became friends, and from there, I was like, well, they're just doing written interviews, but I knew that content had to be video. It had to be seen, not just read. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try interviewing in video. So I dragged Nick with me, and we were both just talking to players in front of a camera. I had no idea what I was doing, but thankfully he guided me through all the process. He helped me understand the meta to a degree that I can actually have a conversation with the player about it, you know, understand everything that I needed. And it's just I can't, you know, it's just like one of those things that you can't explain why you like it so much. I guess it's because we're nerds and we're talking about analytics and we're talking about playing games. But that's sort of how I came to it.
So I mean, like, because you mentioned how you and Nick, your I guess was he coworker with you in your interview. So on that note, I mean, like, what do you go into, like, in terms of the preparation? Like you mentioned, he had to teach you, you know, things about the meta and stuff like that. Like, what do you really need to know? Because obviously we're not as ingrained into League of Legends as you are, obviously.
Sure.
So on that same note, like, what do you have to do in terms of when you're interviewing, your interview process, in terms of, like, what the questions you have to ask the players? Like, what do you prepare for before you go into those interviews with, you know, players or whoever on camera?
I think the preparation will depend on what type of interview you're looking to get, right? In the beginning, all I knew how to interview about, I guess, was about the meta and about what was going on in the current state of the league. So I would read patch notes. I would watch tons of videos about what the hell was going on, why were they picking the characters that they were picking, or you know, why they were playing on bot side, why they were playing on top side, etc. And it was learning about that I was able to actually, like, kind of speak their language. And from there, I really enjoy seeing the people that they were, you know, behind the scenes. And I started focusing on more personal pieces. And to me, those are the most enjoyable, you know, get to actually get to know a player. I just love that. So yeah, when it comes to that, I studied a little bit of psychology to the point that, like, now I'm actually, like, going for a second degree in it to actually understand.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like how I'm going hard on the on, like, interviewing, I guess. But, like, it's just really fascinating to have these conversations. So, like, it depends on the piece, but it's a lot of gaming. It's a lot of getting to know human beings and why they do the things they do. So it's deep.
What do you think about, because you mentioned how you, like, try to focus on the personal side, and we covered in the past, we talked about how, you know, obviously you know G2, but obviously Carlos and G2 have been promoting that one TV, like, reality TV series. I don't know if you've watched, I don't remember what it's called. But it's like the gamers. I don't know. It's like it's on TV or something like that, and they have everybody competing and playing. I think they play League, and they also play soccer and, like, traditional sports and stuff like that. So I guess this, like, overall, the question for you is, I'm wondering, you know, do you think that, you know, any, like, League of Legends players or whatever, like Faker or whoever else, do you think that these type of players could eventually become, you know, A-list celebrities or whatever, right? Because right now we're not even, I don't even know if esports players are considered top, like celebrities even, right? Do you think that we could eventually get to that level where, you know, esports personalities and players are seen, you know, upwards of, like, professional football players or soccer players or whoever else, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like it already happens to an extent, right? Like, luckily, when working with Invin, I was able to be really inserted into the LCK community, which is the Korean League of Legends league. And just seeing how Faker has made this shift over the years to becoming to the point where he is now considered a national treasure. And, you know, it's crazy. Like, they excuse him out of, like, you know, like, military duties and all that. Like, he is literally considered, you know, BTS level. And to me, that's insane. I know that esports has been going on for longer in Korea, so maybe they're more used to it. But, like, when you look at people like Ninja, I think he is an esports personality, right? Like, maybe he's not actively competing, but he used to. And he's broken ground. Like, he's done some crazy stuff. So yeah, definitely.
Well, because I mean, specifically with LEC, I guess, like, from an outsider's perspective, you know, as an American, maybe it's, you probably understand this as, I guess, a Brazilian as well. Like, I think overall, you've probably, I guess maybe it is from the outside looking in, but there's always been that, you know, NA versus EU debate, right? And there's always been that conversation. Doesn't matter what esport you're playing, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, whatever. Literally every esport, it's going to have an NA versus EU situation. And then on top of that, I think Carlos even mentioned recently, he was like talking about how if LCS, you know, remove the import rule. I know this has been a big conversation lately. Right. A lot of people have been talking about it. But you know, he was saying how they should have some say in potentially the import rule being removed. I just guess I want to get your take on the import rule in League of Legends and LCS and that kind of stuff. And do you think it should be removed? Basically, I just want to give a quick layout. Basically, the import rule states in LCS, it is league wide, by the way, right? Isn't it also in LEC too? Isn't the import rule in LEC too?
I think at this point it would be pretty much impossible to just adjust the LCS and not adjust the other leagues. Right?
Yeah,
so I feel like if there is going to be action taken in the LCS, the LEC is also going to suffer from it. Now, what's going to happen is still unknown because I feel like not even the team owners know at this point. Maybe they have a better idea than us, but the reality is that I feel like removing the import rule for NA would make that the region becomes better in international events quicker, which is probably what they want, right? Like they haven't won a title in what, like, ever
since the beginning of the game.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe
so,
like didn't they win like the first world or something like that, or like a couple first? Yeah.
Right. And it's just I don't know. I feel like when you take into account like everything else that's going to happen to the region and how it's, unless the LCS implements sort of like incentives or a rule in which these teams have to invest in the North American ecosystem, it's really going to hurt their professional player base. So I don't know exactly where I stand, and it's so far because right now it's all speculation. So it's really hard for me to just take a hard stance. I don't think that they're just going to completely remove the import rule. At least I would hope not. So it's hard for me to say, you know, I just disagree with it because I realistically don't think it's going to happen. And if it does happen, Jesus, please do not click
Yeah, that'd be fucking concerning. Well, because I mean, specifically in the LEC, I mean, we've seen like teams like is it Schalke 04, or I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but they, you know, recently have come out and just been pretty transparent. They were like, hey, you know, we can't really support this. We got to sell this team most likely. You know, it's like we'll do what we have to keep our football team alive because obviously there's more than just the LEC for them. So I mean, obviously it's like a little concerning because imagine if you lose your homegrown talent out of EU because they want to go play in LCS, right? Like that would be concerning in itself if you lost. You know, some of they already kind of do to some degree. You know, obviously you lose some talent to NA that still fall in the import rule, but you could lose even more talent, right? And that's a little concerning for the LEC, right?
I mean, yeah, obviously. Then again, I don't think it's realistic that we're just going to lose all our talent. We still have, obviously, we're going to lose like probably a substantial amount, but we also have a lot of really talented players in our sort of academy system, which is our regional leagues. Are a lot of really talented young men that are going to play, and I think there's always going to be room for new talent because we foster it correctly over here. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I think so. I mean, you always see a ton of rookies entering the scene, and they really are, you know, being guided by the veterans to the point where like they're able to play on the highest level very quickly, and they perform very well. So I, of course, worry about losing our dear, you know, veterans, or you know, who knows who else would be going, but I don't think the LCS could take everyone from us. Also, like, what is it going to be? What are they going to offer other than money? What's the guarantee that the league is just going to become instantly better? You know, and and these players that are young, they might not necessarily, you know, even consider North America because the chances that like your play could decay, you know, your play level could decay is high. So not everyone is just, you know, willing to take a money bag. So we'll see what happens.
I don't think people understand, I guess, that point of literally moving up like your entire living and like whatever to another country to go live for another year. Because I mean, obviously you've done it, right? And well,
twice.
Are you currently in Brazil? Yeah, you've done it twice now.
No, I'm in Berlin.
Exactly. You had to literally move across the entire world halfway across the world to move and relocate. I mean, how is that, first of all, just, I guess to touch on it, because I've never had to do that. How is it literally moving to a whole new country for esports, I guess?
So, I mean, in the beginning, obviously, it was for gaming, at least to study gaming, right? But I feel like at the time, I was 17. When you're 17, you're not thinking about, I'm leaving my entire life behind. This is going to be hard. Like, you just think, whoa, I'm going to study gaming. Cool. And then the hard shit hits you, and you're like, oh, this is interesting. But I feel like because I did that at very young age, like I was able to grow into that environment of like, oh, okay, I guess, well, I live in another freaking country far away from my family, and doing it again, it was just a matter of me wanting it. And I feel like the second time that you do it, it's like, it's no longer an ignorant, like choice. You just, exactly what you're you buckle up for it because you know what you're going to put up with. But I think it was worth it because working with the LEC environment has been really, really fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, and I mean, I guess because I wanted to go back on the cosplay topic that we talked about before, because you mentioned it's like your passion. However, we've seen teams like Gen G and them actually sign cosplayers to act like professional teams, like to just cosplay, professionally and make money doing that. I just want to get your take, I guess, on doing cosplay potentially full time. Would you ever potentially do it where you could actually do cosplay full time and make money doing that? No?
I mean, to me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense because I do put effort into my cosplay, and you see the stuff, on my social media, on my Instagram, you look at it and you're like, nice, cool. But like the effort that I put into my career and the effort that I put into my studies is just it's far greater, to me, like, analytically speaking, it would make no sense for me to just throw everything in the air. Even though it's my passion, I still get to do it whenever I want it. And when I don't have the time to make the costumes myself, I can just buy it. I'm still, having fun in different ways. So it's very unlikely. I also think that doing cosplay professionally, it's very, very difficult. And there has been a handful of people that I know that have done it in a way that perhaps I would consider it, but it's just I just can't trade all I have in esports for that. It's just for fun.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And you said analytically now that you want to stay onto something else, doing like more reporting. And I just wanted to get your take on this, I guess. People in, forums or professional players or whatever, they'll say, oh, you need to be high rank to like commentate games, to interview, whatever else, right? Well, I just want to ask, first of all, what's your rank right now, currently? And then second of all, do you agree with that take? Oh, no. Do you agree with that take that you need to be high rank to actually, do your job?
No, imagine a soccer reporter having to be able to play and compete against the best ones. No, I think
it doesn't make any sense.
I think that you have to have a level of understanding, right? You need to be able to understand what the information that players are inputting to you, which is something that in the beginning I didn't have. And now that I do have, I understand the value of it. So if anyone's going to come to you and say, yeah, you don't need to be like high elo, sure. I mean, I'm unranked here in Europe. And in NA, like the highest I've ever gotten was like silver. So you can get.
Hey, same.
Yeah, hey, yeah, but like you're a pro player.
We're the same boat.
So.
Hey, well, different areas, different. That's where I'm good at. You can't be good at everything. MOBAs are fucking hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
League is, my brain does not compute with MMOs or MOBAs specifically. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But you don't need it, right?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe I'm mistaken, and as my career progresses, when I reach the highest level of it, hopefully, I'll be like, oh no, I was wrong, and I'll look back at this interview and regret it. But I don't know if you need to be on the level of a pro player. I mean, a lot of casters and talent aren't. So.
No, and you only can do it for a couple of years too. Like at least professionally playing, you can't really play into your even upper 20s. It's just not really been seen before. I guess there's outliers or whatever, but for the most part, you see people fall off any of that. Like it's not reasonable to expect somebody to be a professional player like level, right? You just can't do it. It's just literally not possible.
It's very hard, and I feel like it just demands so much time, and people don't realize it. It's more than a full-time job. Like how can I budget the time?
even you studying the game has taken a lot of time, right? Like just actually learning what you need to learn to become an interviewer in the first place. The very basics required. Well, I don't even know. Like, how many hours did it take you to actually feel like you have a competent level of understanding of League? You know, like thousands of hours, even.
I have no idea. I feel like my level of competence only became like acceptable like this year, right? Like, and I've been interviewing League of Legends for 2.5. So I started from zero also. Like maybe if you're like a super fan and you've been following the scene for a lot longer than I have, maybe it'll be a lot easier for you. But like to me, it's not that simple. It took a lot of studying. It took a lot of effort and definitely a lot of playing, even because playing matters. Just mechanically, I won't be there.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, yeah. Well, okay. I wanted to. I guess we could talk about this. I understand that this might be a little bit of a weird topic or not a great topic. However, I feel like it's probably important because we have brought it up before, you know, and specifically, obviously, some of our staff and some other people. You know, this has been a pretty in esports in which that, you know, girls in gaming, right? And it's not exactly the ideal situation. I just kind of, I guess, wanted to get your take on specifically because there's no voice chat, I guess, in League, right? So maybe it's a little bit easier to be anonymous. But like, can you imagine like in the voice chat games, like having to be, you know, a girl playing games? I imagine it's not. Is it still as difficult to be kind of a girl in the current space, in the current esports space?
It's hard to be a woman in any space. I mean, just that's the reality of it. Like, it's difficult in gaming, it's difficult in, you know, like in architecture, it's difficult in politics, but in gaming, it's just especially shitty. And I hate to like just use that word, like, you know, and not provide context. So here's my take. I think that the anonymity makes it really easy for people to behave the way they want. I do experience verbal abuse in every game that there is voice chat, even Fallout 76, which no one apparently plays but me. It's horrible. I don't know the recipe to make it better because people have been attempting to make the space safer with time, and at this time I don't know if it's like a sort of like a lost faith in humanity, but it is hard. And this drags into the workplace and into your field of work as well. So it's complicated, but if you're a girl and you want to work, you know, in gaming, just be very persistent, because quite frankly, I just don't think this is going to end. Of course, people, you know, like the front runners, they're trying to make the space better, but it's hard and it's going to take a lot of time.
What do you think that's like the main reason that we haven't seen too many, you know, professional girls in the scene or whatever? Like why we haven't seen too many pro players you know, be girls? Like, is that the main reason you think is the toxicity and stuff like that?
I think that when we're talking about a game like League of Legends that is a little bit more you know, it's an older title. It's already super ingrained. Like the culture has been coming from like 10 years basically. So it's and the culture of women being in gaming has never really been there. You know, it was very small, and it's very hard for the people that used to play to accept, and that drags over. But look at Valorant. Look at how many women are kicking ass in this game. Look at how many women are casting, how many women are playing, how many teams are signing mixed rosters. Like, we haven't seen much of that before. Maybe in CSGO a little bit, but nothing like Valorant, I would say. And one of the things that I notice is that I know that a lot of women work in League of Legends, but since the beginning of this game, a lot of women have been inserted into this project, which is something that maybe I'm wrong, but I have the feeling that League of Legends might not have because I think it shows over time. And I don't know. I feel like it's hard. I've had conversations with players and with friends that just say, "Oh, a woman, like a mixed team, a woman in the environment would be hard because guys wouldn't respect it." And I think that's kind of true. I mean, it's whenever we look at that Russian team, Victus. I know that they were off roll and their elo was far behind, but which to say, I do think that org kind of set them up for failure, you know, in that way, and like putting them to play with such disadvantage. But like the comments that they were receiving were not just about their play, they were different. And these types of comments men don't receive as often, and that's harmful. It makes it for a discouraging environment for other women that want to follow that. And I don't know. I kind of lost my hope with the league for now, but we'll see. We'll see in Valorant.
Yeah, no, it does make sense though. I mean, like that, it is kind of a conversation that literally has to be brought up. Or not, it doesn't have to be brought up necessarily, but you know, it's good to be brought up rather. I mean, maybe it does have to be brought up. I think in a reputable, like at a reasonable pace. I think it's just like literally every conversation is like, at least in right, like every time you hear, at least it's still happening in Valorant. Like we mentioned, even Valorant with all the support they've done, like every game that I get a girl in my game, it's just at some point they're literally having a comment, just like at the very beginning, like they speak once, boom, immediately in comes like 5 or 6 different comments. It's really quick. It's just, you know, it's tough. Like you mentioned, there's really nothing that seemingly can be done besides like promoting, you know, positivity and that kind of stuff. But,
and banning
you know,
people that do that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, and reporting and banning those people as well. Well, right. I mean, shit. Thanks for coming on, Laura. By the way, I mean, real quick, we usually ask if you want to plug anything before we let you go and stuff like that. Is there anything you'd like to you know, shout out or something?
Yes, there are a couple things I want to shout out. First is my team at Dot Esports and how wonderfully they have been so far, and the fact that we've been able to produce, you know, documentaries and series like that during a pandemic has been mind-blowing, and I hope that people are able to check them out. You can find them on YouTube, just slash Dot Esports, and if you want to find more about what I do, it's just everywhere at Lara Lunardi.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, Lara Lunardi. Appreciate it. Thanks for. Oh shit. Well, I mean, obviously it's pre-recorded, so we can. I mean, Daniel can't cut that out. I still look like a fool. So, thanks for coming. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for coming, Laura.
Yeah. Thank you.
See you later.
Yeah.
All right. That was Laura. That was awesome. Really nice talking to her. Didn't know that cosplay was just a passion project. I think for the most part, like I should have asked. I guess specifically like about the like specific cosplayers that have been getting paid for it. But like she said, it's just her passion. It's not something she's focused on, and more about, you know, interviewing and stuff like that. And there's always people that I specifically want to talk to and learn from on the interview side, you know, and then I could learn from, I guess. But it was a good conversation, you know. Hope she has a good rest of her day. Do I want to cosplay?
Yeah.
What would I cosplay as? Would I pull a sneaky? Would I fucking? I don't think. I
think you could do it. You just gotta shave it off.
I think I have too big of a jawline, dude. I think the thing is what are you trying to say, Anthony? What are you trying to say,
I think you can be
buddy?
a tracer. You
could be tracer. I'd be a bulky tracer, bro. I'm built like a fridge, dude. You don't understand. Like, naturally, I'm built like a fucking fridge. Also, apparently, Anthony's muted. Anthony said some bad shit, some horrific shit. He basically said that I couldn't cosplay like Sneaky ever if I wanted to in my life. He was incredibly mean and rude. But honestly, dude. Honestly, like fucking... I don't know. I would probably only cosplay as you know, a male character. I don't think I could do like a female character. I don't think that's possible. Like I said, my jawline. Maybe you could, Max. I think your jawline is more built like in a feminine way, and it'd be easier to cosplay a more feminine character. Listen, I mean, anybody can cosplay who they want. You know what I'm saying? Cosplay is genderless or whatever. You know. But I still think then I would not be able to pull off anything like Sneaky. I think he's just too hot, man. You know what I'm saying? And on that note, fucking on that bombshell, thanks for coming to the show today, guys. This is a pre-recorded thing, so we did this before the show. However, usual stuff, you know, thanks for coming today. I hope you guys check out our highlights, subscribe to the channel, like below, all that kind of shit. Thanks to Siren, Tolberto, and Samantha for helping out the show behind the scenes. Awesome folk. Without them, the show would be complete dog shit, but with us on the show, we make the show dog shit. So, you know, that's how it is. Myself, Max, and Anthony. We'll see you guys tomorrow on what is it? Terrific Thursday. Wait, did it say Thursday? Yeah, no, dude, I'm losing track of time.
Whatever.
See you later on that bombshell.
What? It's terrific.
You can go in the Weenie Hut in here.
Hell yeah. Weenie Hut.
You're saying I don't have a jawline?
No, I'm just saying you actually do have a jaw. I just realized I was like, you do have a jawline. So I kind of take back that comment, actually.